This is one of my favorite Father of the Bride speeches. It's on YouTube as the most hilarious Father of the Bride toast. As of this recording, it has 2.6 million views. So let's take a look at the most hilarious Father of the Bride toast.
Follow that, but I'll do my best.
How do you not love this guy?
It was a Saturday in July, Ocean City, New Jersey. The day started out like any other. A morning bike ride to breakfast, a leisurely stroll on the boardwalk, and a lazy afternoon on the beach. And as my wife, Sue, and I sat in our beach chairs, watching Nick and Nicole, hand in hand, playfully splashing by the water's edge, with a real sense of happiness and a smile on my face, I turned to my wife and I said, "She's going to marry that boy."
Aww. He's already got an awe from the crowd. But let's take a look at what he's doing. He's just started with a story. It was a beautiful summer day. If you're putting together a speech, there's a million ways to do it. Applause break already.
They don't know what's coming.
Oh, they don't know what's coming. By the way, I have to give a shout out to the videographer on this because look, we've got a reaction shot. They have a great shot of him, but they also have a great shot of the guests because that's going to help us as an audience enjoy the story even more because we're going to hear Dad talk about things that happened and then we're going to immediately be able to see the reactions of the guests. And that makes it so much more fun.
And as the sun set and we returned home for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres on our back deck, then caught a Phillies game and movie, and then retired for the evening. And as we peacefully drifted off to sleep, our bedroom door flung open.
Reaction shot?
And Nick Delenti, fresh from a night in Sea Isle City, and clearly making a wrong turn for the hallway bath.
Oh. Right into the father-in-law's bedroom.
Staggered by our bed, on his way to our bathroom. Sue, who always picks the side of the bed closest to the bathroom, would live to regret that choice this evening.
He has absolute command of the room. People go, "Oh, I'm not a funny person," but you don't have to be wild and crazy and wacky to be funny. You can just be very calm and controlled, and you can use your natural personality to get a great reaction from the crowd.
As we lay stunned and trembling in fearful anticipation as to what might come next, our worst fears were realized.
Reaction
as
shot?
Nick emerged from the bathroom and proceeded to get into bed with us.
Oh. Look, perfect reaction shot. And also, this Dad's timing is perfect because what you want is to get the big laugh, and you don't want the laugh to die down completely. You want it to start dying down and then ride that momentum to the next thing you're saying.
Sue, always accommodating, started to move over to give him more room. Outraged, I said, "Get him out of here."
And he's going nice and slow. He's letting each line breathe.
To which she replied, "I'm not touching him. His thing might be out."
And look how he's brought his wife into it. He didn't say my wife was afraid to touch him because she was afraid his thing might be out. He gave a direct quote. Sue said, and the direct quote, it just gives it that little bit more punch. So think about that when you're telling an anecdote, when you're telling a story in your speech. Look how long that laugh break is. People ask me about timing
So
all
I
the
got out
time.
of bed and I guided Nick back to his room. And as I returned to bed, now locking the door behind me, which we do now every night, even when no one is in the house.
Great tag.
I got back into bed, still dazed and confused. And with a look of bewilderment on my face, I turned to my wife and said,
We all know what's coming.
she's going to marry that boy?
Boom. That's called parallel structure. Use the same phrase, but in a very different way. Classic comedy technique, and works
Nicholas
perfectly.
Michael, all joking aside,
Making the turn to
you're an
sentimentality.
outstanding young man with a kind and generous soul. And me and Sue and Gino couldn't be happier to welcome you into the Samola family.
And he's mentioned people by name, by the way. That's always a great technique. Mention as many of them by name as you can. Hearing your name in a room like that, in a speech like that, it makes people feel special. And you're going to be seeing these people for the next, I don't know, 25, 30, 40 years at Christmas and Thanksgiving. Spread it on thick, and it's going to pay dividends.
As your family has welcomed Nicole into theirs.
Extra
your mother
gracious.
and father, Marley and Mike, your sister Kimmy, and your brothers Danny and Max have opened up their hearts and home to us, and we are honored, humbled, and grateful. Your family's character and integrity set a high bar, and we'll do our best to keep up. Although
Absolutely.
I have to tell you, off script, keeping up with your old man is going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
We don't know what he's mentioning, but
It's going to be tough.
that is absolutely
It's going
from
to be
the
tough.
heart. Look at the reaction it's getting. He's
Nicole,
wiping tears.
Grace, Lucy. Ever since you could walk and talk, whenever your mother or I would announce it was time for bed, you would jump up and yell, 5 more minutes. And no matter what we did that day, the zoo, the library, the park, a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, or all of the above, you still needed 5 more minutes.
Repeat
Your
the phrase.
spirit and zest for life, which you inherited from your Nanny Lou and Uncle Buddy.
By the way, what he just did there is such a beautiful way of acknowledging people who are not present. He's talking about grandparents who it sounds like have passed on, and what an elegant way to mention them. Mentioning the grandparents can sometimes be a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a downer, not in a bad way, but still a different kind of tone. But he's mentioned them in the context of his daughter's personality, which means that he's giving them credit. He's mentioning them without really doubling down on the fact that they've passed away.
Although challenging at times, is a gift and a blessing. And whenever your mother and I look at you and Nick, what impresses and delights us the most is the childlike enthusiasm for life that the two of you share.
So good. That's another. So he's gotten applause breaks for jokes and now for the heartfelt stuff.
And so I say to the both of you now, cherish that enthusiasm, nurture it, and don't ever change. And so once again, let's raise our glass and toast the new Mr. and Mrs. Delenti, and let the games begin.
Well, if that's not a perfect 10, I don't know what is. 2 thumbs up. This is absolutely great. If you want to watch more, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing lots more of these.